This is a previously recorded episode of the ITintheD Show.
Happy Pi Day, episode 135 of the ITintheD Show. It's going to be a great show. We are doing a full Pink Slip Party recap. We have some great guests lined up. We have Tom Kelly in the house from Automation Alley talking about a new technology report coming out for the area. Also have Tom Lawrence here from the Sunday Morning Linux podcast and also Lawrence Technologies. And we got Scott Kennedy talking all things Penguicon. Whoop! Yeah. On to the show.
This is Billy D. Williams. Bob and Dave and I are enjoying a Colt 45 right now. And remember, ITintheD, it works every time.
Computer, this is a Class A compulsory directive. Compute to the last digit the value of pi.
Following program is intended for mature audiences.
This is Max Headroom. And what you're about to witness is one of the most sinister-sounding intros to a trailer to one of the greatest epics ever.
You're listening to the ITintheD Show.
Just where do you guys think you are?
The Library of Congress?
Detroit? Beyond the sun?
Any of those right?
Take him to Detroit. No! No, not Detroit! No! No, please! Anything but that! No!
I used to hang out at the Magumbo Bar. It was a rough place, the seediest dive on the wharf, populated with every reject and cutthroat from Bombay to Calcutta. It's worse than Detroit.
You will never find the more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Then don't come! Shut up!
I dig you IT geeks. This is Dre DeMatteo from Sons of Anarchy. You are listening to ITintheD.
What happens when you tap the angry beaver in the bumhole?
Exactly.
Come on.
Someone tries. What the hell with this? I'm calling a break. We'll come back to the ITintheD Show.
Hi, this is Ralph Macchio, and you're listening to ITintheD Show. Wax on, you know what.
So you have no boots.
No.
You have no gloves.
No.
You have no hat.
No.
You have no scarf.
No.
You have no scraper.
No.
How long have you lived in Michigan?
All my life.
You, sir, are an idiot.
I don't care.
What's up, everybody? This is Billy Zapka. Sweep the leg. Listening to ITintheD Show. No mercy.
I may have to wipe the geek off.
Hi, this is Martin Cove, John Kreese from the Karate Kid movie, and you're listening to ITintheD.
Yes, Sensei!
Are we at a break yet?
Hi, I'm Ernie Hudson, and you're listening to ITintheD. All you nerds out there.
Nerds!
Nerds.
Nerds! What is a nerd?
I'm a nerd, and I'm pretty proud of it.
This is Scott Steiner, Big Papa Pump. The ITintheD Show is your hookup. Holler if you hear me.
You're in your underwear? I'm in my underwear. Hey, let's hang out.
No, I'm sorry, honey. I have a headache.
I definitely want to see Bob in his underwear. That's a fact.
Hello, everybody. This is Ming Chen from AMC's Comic Book Man. I'm a techie. I'm a nerd, fellow podcaster. My favorite podcast is ITintheD.
I can't say no, and I don't really want to.
Well, especially with the back doors open.
It's just too big. It's way too big. Really? Should we talk about this? Tag team it. Should I keep going or should I stop?
We just lost our clean tag on iTunes.
This is Robert Hayes, a Ted Stryker to my mother. When I'm not hanging out at the Magumbo Bar, I'm listening to the ITintheD Show. It's worse than Detroit.
Is there such thing as a meat hangover?
I love my Monday meat steak.
Hey, folks, this is WWE Hall of Famer Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and you're listening to the ITintheD Show. Tough guy. Ho!
My name is Michael Zapsik from AMC's Comic Book Man. You're listening to ITintheD.com.
So, what would you little maniacs like to do first?
The question isn't what are we going to do. The question is what aren't we going to do.
Ludicrous speed! Sir, had you better buckle up? Buckle this! Ludicrous speed! Go!
Live from Podcast Detroit, this is the ITintheD Show. We are hanging out in beautiful Ferndale, Michigan. This is Bob the Sales Guy, always here with Captain Soundboard himself, Dave the Geek, Nuri the FNG. Find everything you need to know about us online at ITintheD.com. And I'm sure Randy and Ian are out on Twitter. Give us a follow. And like us on the Facebook. And leave us a review on iPod, iPad,
iTunes,
iTunes.
the thing with the eyes and the tunes and the pods.
Kids use this.
And those crazy kids today.
It's pie day, and I've been eating chocolate pie all day, so I got a sugar buzz. Leave me alone.
Do I know her?
Yes.
Damn near killed her.
We got a great show lined up. We're going to do a full Pink Slip Party recap and talk about all the crazy stuff we usually do. And we got a full studio full of guests. 2 of them bailed last minute because of illness, but we got some awesome replacements. Tom Kelly's here from Automation Alley. They have a great technology report for the whole entire Metro Detroit area. We're going to get it deep into that. Also, we're joined by Tom Lawrence. He is the host of the Sunday Morning Linux podcast, also the owner of Lawrence Technologies. Got a lot of cool stuff to talk about. And last but not least, one of our favorite topics, Scott Kennedy is in the house talking all things Penguicon.
I'm your favorite topic. Admit it.
You alone, yes. No,
Mom's my favorite topic.
We appreciate coming out, but like I said, there's this show or this episode is brought to you by our old friends at Harry's. Still use their products, still love them. It's going on almost a year now. If you are in the market for a better shave at a cheaper price and tired of spending $45 at Walgreens or tired of cheap disposable razors, Harry's is a phenomenal shave at a very much discount price. It is straight from the manufacturer. They actually bought the plant. There is no middleman. It is basically like Loot Crate for shave kits.
I just got my latest reload kit.
I need reload. I just found it the other day.
Yeah.
Right. But like I said, a blade lasts about 2 weeks. It's very, very inexpensive. Like I said, a starter kit is a razor.
Well, it would last about 3 days, but you don't shave your goatee.
Right.
Because that jungle, it would kill it.
I couldn't get near there. But hey, a starter kit is $15. But if you use coupon code ITintheD, the number 5, they'll shave $5 off, free shipping. That's a razor, 3 blades, and your choice of shaving cream or gel. And like I said, once you try it, you're definitely going to be hooked. So check them out. Harry's, HARRYS.com. Use discount code ITintheD, the number 5, at checkout, and enjoy the product. And we appreciate your support in their supporting the show.
Woo!
So, Pink Slip Party is done, and
Thank God.
The ensuing buildup, and then the actual, and then the
it's always
aftermath.
that half hour leading up, like that last half hour. We're like, oh my God, nobody's coming. It's gonna suck. There's somebody, and then all of the people. So like it's that full theory. Like we're never too light,
right?
Never overly packed. But like, why do they all show up at the same time? Like, because it was like 5:15, and there were like maybe 2 or 3 people there. And then there were 100.
And then whoosh.
And then whoosh. And then
right. And they stayed late, too. They stayed there till like, gosh, it was, 8:30 or 9 o'clock when we finally shut down?
If you're unfamiliar with the Pink Slip Party concept, we've realized that job fairs in this town suck. So instead of doing this whole cattle call thing...
Well, job fairs everywhere suck.
Right.
We can just only fix them here.
Right. So we basically set up a nightclub that's usually a concert venue that we all grew up going to, one of the classic venues in town. And we set up pub tables, and we put lanyards on people hiring, and we
throw DJ Nuri up on stage,
and we usually have a special guest. We usually have a special guest. Last time it was Cryo. This time was the Ghostbusters.
Dude, everyone loved the Ghostbusters.
I saw dozens of pictures on social media.
It was
Ghostbuster pictures.
Crazy. So between Twitter and Facebook, and everybody had the best time ever getting their picture taken with the Ghostbusters.
And then you posted a meme, David. It was, "Does your job fair?"
Yeah, exactly. When's the last?
Have a DJ in the Ghostbusters.
Yep.
Answers now.
One of the things that's funny is, we always say we have the pulse in the IT industry, and we've seen it, in 2007 all the way till today, and we can tell when people are working and when people aren't. And what this Pink Slip Party told me is that people don't come out to jobs when they're hiring and or when they're have a job and they're happy. And that's why I thought it was a little bit of a lighter crowd. It wasn't a bad thing, but it's like everyone must be working, which is a good thing.
Well, and not only that, but I mean, so because we've talked about this. I mean, we started the Pink Slip Parties back in 2009. When the bottom fell out of the market, and every job seeker said, "For the love of God, help! We can't get FaceTime with a recruiter. We can't get our emails returned, our phone calls returned, any of that stuff." Well, late 2012, we started to see that shift, where it started to be the recruiter saying, "Hey, we can't find qualified people. When's your next event? We need to meet people, They were still in that realm of, wanting the purple squirrel. I want a BA with a sysadmin background with 30 years of experience for $20,000 a year.
It's also done COBOL.
Exactly. And so now, here we are 2016, and I think that has finally balanced out and shaken out quite a bit. And so, I think we're starting to approach a level of normal. And so, like, what we're seeing now more than anything else is a lot of companies that are looking for and willing to talk with entry-level folks. For years we were if you have 3 to 5 years of experience and up, ITintheD is for you. And it's only been the past couple of years where we've really started to, tap into that lower level, entry level, entry level market, from a career standpoint.
The funny thing is, I think I ran into a half a dozen people, maybe 4 or 5, that, what do you do? I'm a mobile app dev guy. I'm like, wait, are you looking for a job? He goes, yeah, I'm not working. I go, so help me God, if you don't get a job tonight, I'm beating your ass. Like, what? Like, if there was a .NET developer, and I go, you're not working? No.
But here's the thing with that, Bob. How many of those I'm a mobile app dev had just walked out of one of those training classes?
I didn't go deep.
So, that because you were tossing them over my way. And so, everybody that said they were a mobile app dev and not working, a lot of them were either fresh out of one of those boot camps, or they were on week 8 of a 10-week class, that kind of stuff. So, it's not like they were seasoned app devs that were looking for a gig.
I just finished Hello World for the first time.
Right.
It's really, really pretty.
I just got my first scraper in the Google Play Store, and life's good, yeah.
But great event. And again, thank everyone that came out, Aero Strategies, for helping out.
Of course, for sponsoring, absolutely, yeah.
Right, and then looking forward to the one in September. It's going to come up quicker than you know. We better plan now.
Yeah, I think that. Well, and honestly, that was part of it. We didn't do a lot of advanced legwork on this one, and good, bad, or indifferent. Shame on us.
We got a lot all week.
We got a lot of stuff going on these days, and so we didn't even put the word out to anyone until 2 weeks out, when we're usually done with everything and already getting flooded 2 months out. So note taken.
We did it the second because it's St. Patrick's Day, because we did it the second Thursday instead of doing it the 4th, which we should have done. We live and learn. But hey, jumping the gun a little bit, I'd be remiss if I didn't bring this up. The gaming world right now, I believe, is in a minor buzz. The announcements just came out that Xbox Live and PlayStation 4 are merging. They're testing it with Rocket League, and if you play anything with online gaming, especially if you're on an older Xbox, or if you're on a one where you might have smaller or minimal people playing, merging the two platforms, to me, is an absolute game changer, and I don't know why it hasn't been done.
I think it's a commodity, right? So you've got game systems that are basically a piece of PC hardware, right? You've got the networks that they support as well, and I guess what's the draw of PlayStation over Xbox? Is it the networks? Is it the hardware? Basically, these things are the same thing, made by different companies. So why the hell not?
Why buy? Samsung and Sony TVs. You still get Comcast on them. It's almost exactly. I don't know if it's the same principle or not, but exactly. The games are the same. The developers are the same. Right? Blizzard, whoever is making the games.
It's not like one controller has an advantage of another. A PC controller, I understand, right? You've got so much more control than those little sticks, right?
Well, and for the longest time, the debate was there when it came to the networks. Microsoft owns their network. It's they own it and run it end to end. Sony decentralized it, which
hacking team shuts it down every couple of weeks.
Exactly. Right. It's like communism. It looked phenomenal on paper. Not so great in the real world implementation because life.
And don't forget, those multiplayer games are only as good as the people who are playing them.
Yeah,
so
right.
If it goes out on Xbox and people stop playing it on Xbox, but there's a big group playing it on PS4, no one's going to buy it on Xbox because they don't know anybody who's playing.
Right. All I know is it was a sad day about a year ago when they shut off the last server playing SOCOM 2 for PlayStation 2, and I had to stop playing. Just a sad day. I know, right? Little violin. But so, Dave, what'd you do to celebrate Pi Day today? I know it's such a huge deal.
I went to work.
You didn't go to buy a pie?
No.
Did you have some cake even?
No. There was a booth that was giving out pie tins full of whipped cream, and there was a large line there. I wasn't quite sure what the deal was, but I heard they were a big draw.
Nice Revenge of the Nerds reference. So this goes back to yesterday was quote unquote Detroit Day. It was March 13th.
Did you go to the parade?
Or 313? No, I didn't go. I hate parades. Nuri, there's a few things I hate in this world, clowns being one. Parades is another
Mushrooms.
one. Mushrooms. So like you got all three. Like if you eat like you have like clowns and yeah. What do? You stand there and you wave, and there's stuff that goes by you, and you wave, and then you stand there and you wave.
Was there actually a 313 parade in Detroit?
No.
See, that's.
Well, and if there was, everybody was at the Corktown St. Patrick's Day, so yeah.
Right.
It's like the pure Michigan court, just an excuse to get drunk and make out with some strange chick. That's all these things are for.
Sounds like.
But the thing, I remember I was telling you, I went to Chicago, on business, and I go, "Do you guys celebrate March 12th?" And they go, "What's that?" And I go, 312, and I go, "Bob, that is the dumbest thing you've ever said in my life." And I go, "Why?" And I go, "Because in Detroit, apparently it's a thing." And they're like, "Oh, like it's like, what are you talking about?"
And now we feel sad for you again.
I wish there was 48 days in February so I could celebrate
248
Oakland
Day.
County Day. Stupid! Like, what do you do?
We'll just adopt the European calendaring, and it'll be August 24th. That'll be 248 days. There you go.
No, now it's not. But so a phrase came out this week, and it's something I haven't heard yet. And I always like when you talk about like the economy shifts, and you talk about like the creative economy moving to a maker economy, moving to a. So now I heard a phrase this week, and there you brought it up too, called surveillance capitalism. And when we talk all the time about Minority Report and all these people that own the quote, I hate the phrase big data, but all the people that own all this information on you, and you freely give it up via LinkedIn and Facebook and
every Google search you make.
And now it's a complete sector of the economy that owns you.
Yeah, basically, there's a quote in there that says most Americans realize that there are two groups of people monitored regularly. The first is those monitored by a court order requiring a tracking device, and the second group is everybody else, which blew my mind to think about. I mean, if you have all this data about the way someone searches and the way someone behaves online, then you can monetize that information, figure out probabilities of groups' behavior, and even influence their behavior. And that people pay money to do this, which is like, this is freaky as hell.
Think about it. They know, like we talk about it all the time, like when you go to the grocery store or the mall or whatever, when they're tracking your movement so they can do the floor plans better. GPS. Again, they know where you're going. They know where you're at.
If you are not paying for a service, you are the service.
Right, but don't you dare take away my Google Maps on my phone because I'm blind without it. But oh shit, don't track me. Like you can't. There's no both ways.
Well, I mean, my Apple phone knows. Like when I leave here at 11 o'clock.
Doesn't work without it.
Well, right. I leave here at 11 o'clock, and it's like, oh, it's 26 minutes to Lake Orion. I'm like, how do you know where I'm going before I get in my car? Because of a pattern that I go to Lake Orion on Monday nights. So this is the kind of stuff that. Maybe it's helpful, maybe it's fun, but
this is how subpoenas are born.
And what annoys me the most is when you go to Amazon or Google or somewhere, you buy something, and then that same product follows you around for days and days, right? But you've already bought it.
Yeah, I don't always search for Ghostbusters costumes on Amazon, but when I do, the ad is waiting for me on Facebook, Yelp, and everywhere else I go for the next 4 days.
Just in case you might want to buy 3 more.
I need an I bought it button.
Yeah, and that's basic, right?
Yeah, that's advanced. That's like 3 years ago, right? That's not now.
Yeah.
It's crazy stuff.
But you tell them, everything about you freely.
Yeah.
Like you give up.
You search for herpes medication, right? You're not doing it for a friend, right?
Well, I was. But then like Facebook even came out. Sorry, Scott, I'll get in a minute. But Facebook even came out and somebody asked, like, are you listening to me? Or what are you tracking? And they're like, well, we don't really listen to what you say, but we're listening to everything going on in the background.
So how do you filter that out?
So how do you right? So yeah, we don't listen to you. Yes, we do. Right, but so what happens if you're listening to like a AC/DC song? Do they send you like? I don't get.
Well, no, because it's that all the new. Moods, I'm watching. Reactions. I'm listening. This has actually been out for a while. I mean, so it's the I'm watching The Big Bang Theory. I'm if their mic recognizes a pattern and recognizes the signal coming over, it just preempts it for you and says yes. You're hey, I'm watching. Yeah.
Can I write a Facebook status update? It'll say, talking on IT in the D.
That would be phenomenal.
I'm going to try it.
Apparently, I don't think we're recognized by Facebook yet.
Damn it, Facebook.
No, because I keep getting Google alerts for something does it in the D League, like the NBA. I get an NBA Google alert like every day. I'm like, God bless it. Like, it's so stupid.
The Electronic Frontier Foundation makes an add-on. I know it's for Chrome. I'm not sure if it's for other browsers, but it's called Privacy Badger. And it is sort of like between that and an ad blocker, the two of them can really help to make you feel a little more comfortable going around the internet.
Well, there's some people, there's an ad blocker now. Like, isn't it Forbes, Nuri?
Forbes. I was just going to say that.
You can't read an article if you have ad blocker on.
It's not the first. There are more, actually.
But there are people out there working on plugins to circumvent the circumvention.
It's
a trace buster, buster.
But it's in everything. So, I mean, okay, so you get your browser set up, but then your DVR is watching everything you do and feeding back the mothership.
You don't even have to go to the DVR.
Yeah.
Your smart TV, which
Everything.
we all have now. Yep. And they actually had to come out and say, don't discuss personally sensitive information in front of the television.
Yeah.
Because we do. We record everything and it sends back to third parties and yada, yada.
You agreed to it by buying it and opening the box.
Why do I keep getting Funyuns and Jägermeister coupons sent to my house?
That's why.
Right. Well, bring some Funyuns. Again, good luck listening to my house. Like, it's just like babies screaming, me screaming for Funyuns. There's that's it. There's nothing else that happens in my home. Have fun with that, whoever you are, sitting in that room with whatever you're doing.
Oh, the TV in the basement might be able to pick up some good stuff sometimes.
Oh, yeah. Never mind about that. That was another thing when we talked about Google. Think about this: how many copyright takedown requests do you think Google has to process every hour?
Jillions.
Oh, dude, it was crazy.
113,000 copyright infringement takedowns every hour they have to process.
Well, that's mostly automated. That is almost entirely automated.
How do you automate
YouTube,
that?
Basically, they say,
but mostly YouTube.
Yeah, they basically say, okay, you are a vetted creator. You're like a distribution company or whatever. And when you put in a takedown, they don't do any sort of testing or whatever. They just go, okay.
Dude, that's what that was part of that whole Fine Brothers thing.
They send you a letter, and the letter says, we're taking this down because there's been a copyright claim against it. It is on you, the person who uploaded it, to contest it. And if you contest it, then you ultimately can get essentially downgraded so that you can only make 10-minute videos instead of hour videos.
So you're saying that if I was like a movie studio and I saw that you posted a video talking shit about...
You don't see a thing. You don't even see a thing. You upload your content to them. You upload the names of your stuff and your videos and your music, and their system just processes like-minded stuff. You can upload something with a song in it, and before it is finished processing, it will lock it down.
Isn't that like how the Damn Daniel videos got taken down, like either by copyright infringement or like hate speech?
That?
No. Like the friends hated that he was getting all this attention, so they were submitting like it was either hate speech or copyright infringement. They got took down. So it was like at 2.5 million views in like 4 days.
Wow.
Their content ID system does that automatically too.
Yep.
I've even uploaded videos and I've had something else playing in the background and they picked it up and go, "Whoa, content ID flag!" And you're like, "What did I do?" And I didn't realize the TV. My kids were listening to music in the background. That's content ID flag.
It totally destroys fair use. I watched a beautiful video that was all about filmmaking and creative use of graphics and filmmaking. And it was up for a while. It was like an hour-long video that used dozens and dozens of pieces. Totally educational, totally critical, totally fair use. And it got taken down.
Wow.
So how do they handle satire? Because satire is supposed to be fair use.
The point is, the point is, if you have a fair use case for using video, it'll automatically get taken down and you have to argue to get it back.
Huh. So, Neri, you sent a cool thing this week, and I'm totally doing the math to see if it works out or not, but Spielberg and J.J. Abrams are trying to sell you like the old on-TV box.
I want this so much.
Well, so the box itself, so it's like the old days of if you're 40 like me, you remember when your dad got the first HBO only box where you plugged into VHS or channel 3 on VHS.
I don't remember this.
Yeah, so we had on TV and then HBO. You just had HBO and it only came out at 8:00 at night. And they ran movies till like 2, 4 in the morning, something like that.
Well, they say it's what, $150 for the box,
$150,
$50 per screening.
But you get first run movies.
Well, I was gonna say, it is same day release in theaters movies.
So instead of waiting in line for an hour for Star Wars and
don't have to buy advance tickets, you don't have to do anything. It's
taking
$50.
Yeah, so the movie theaters get 20 because they don't want to destroy the industry.
But which movie theater?
Whichever one's closest to your house.
Whatever, I don't know. Yeah, but there could be like 5.
I'm sure there's a proportion.
But if you think about it, I take my wife and kids to a first run movie.
$13 a ticket, right?
$13 a ticket, and then we all get pop and popcorn, and they get the kids box, and they got to get the stupid Sour Patch Kids. It's an $80 bill by the time I get out of there.
And then you have to deal with the other people in the theater.
So if you mean to tell me I could sit on my couch and pee in my toilet,
you could text whoever you want to
hit popcorn and for $50 bill.
I do it too.
Goddamn right, I'm going to all day long.
And then apparently they still give you 2 tickets to a movie theater as part of that $50 as well. So if you still want the experience, you want to give it to somebody else. So this is sounding like a better and better deal.
Because this is always, and we've talked about this a couple of times. That my dilemma. I love movies.
Yeah.
I hate movie theaters.
So you didn't like cheering when every 5 minutes when they introduced a character at the new Star Wars?
No, I wanted to poke people in the eye.
Yay! I heard you. You went yay! Clapping.
No, that was Tulio sitting next to us.
I don't know if I want to scream at people when they clap at the end of the movie. I'm like, who the hell are you clapping for? Seriously, the projectionist?
There's nobody's here. Nobody's here taking a bow. Nobody. But no, let's always been like I detest other, and it's not even the movie theaters I hate. It's the other people
that talk.
It's not an enjoyable experience.
You can't sit there in your boxers. No, I get it.
And so give me this all day, every day.
Take that to the next level and have the theater filled with young kids as opposed to even adults.
Well, no, so that was my thing. Like literally up until recently, I went and saw I Am Legend with that Will Smith flick, and this tells you how long I stayed away from movie theaters because of this. The row behind us was like 10, 9 to 11-year-olds, and it wasn't until like 20 minutes into the movie where I finally stood up, turned around, snapped, and said, so help me God, kids, shut the hell up. The parents 2 rows over that weren't even sitting with their kids, the dad comes down and was like, oh, you got a problem? I'm like, oh, wait, are these yours? Because, you and I are going to talk right now. These are yours. Yeah, because here's rule number 1. Don't make me parent your child. If I have to, nobody's happy. You won't be happy. I won't even be happy. And damn sure your kid will not be happy.
Dave's already a cranky 80-year-old at the ripe young age of 40. Exactly. Damn kids are ruining this country, stupid.
So did the Palladium rescind that law? Remember when the
the one in Birmingham
said no kids are allowed?
There was a waiver that you could that your parents could sign if you were under 18 to get in.
I was kind of mom.
And I had no issues with that.
That was if you pay for their club, like their $500 year.
No. You just
waiver.
It was a waiver. Yeah, it's you know what? The older I get, the more I'm in favor of year-round school.
They're not farming anymore.
I know, yeah. So how's daylight savings time treating you, Bob?
Eat my ass, daylight savings people.
So before we go to break, I got a warning for everybody. Do not upload pictures of yourself onto social media because they can be used to launch black magic attacks.
That's only in Malaysia.
I was going to say, is that only true in Malaysia, or are they just on the cusp of breaking this out worldwide?
So a federal government person in Malaysia sent
their cybersecurity guy.
It's like, warning, witch doctors will install wireless broadband and launch black magic attacks using your selfies.
I'm not going to Haiti anytime soon. I'll be fine.
If I can still use Google Maps there, that's fine.
So guess what? You remember our friends that wrote an app like 2 years ago to find out how long the line is to go?
Oh, that you ran into on the airplane?
Yeah. Apparently they just got their first customer yesterday. It's the Palace of Auburn Hills signed up for P time or P wait or whatever the hell it's called, wait time. That if you're like sitting in your seat and you're like, oh my God, I got to go number 2, you're going to open up your app and you're going to find out which John has the shortest line.
Dude, I think it's brilliant.
Are you kidding me?
No, seriously. How many times have you gotten up and you're like, holy shit, this line is so long for the bathroom. There's no way I'm going to sit in it. Every time you go to the bathroom.
And then what do you do? So what do you do?
You keep walking or you wait in the line.
You're standing in line, and by the time you get to the line goes down, then you're in the other line.
What if it's a really good game and you don't want to miss any time?
Go to opening day. That's all you do is stand in line for beer and pee. That's you don't even. If you see opening day is coming up April 8th. I swear to God, if I see 3 innings of baseball, and I love my baseball, I'll be joyous because I stand in line for beer. I stand in line to pee. Don't sell me a line to see how long the line is to pee. Sell me the stadium, pal, so I can pee in a hot water bottle strapped to my thigh. You want to help me? That helps me.
Can you isolate that, please?
I don't have to get out. Put a hose between the seats.
Put a urinal back of each seat.
Put every seat. Make every seat a toilet. Just give me a little blanket.
This is a nightmare.
A Snuggie.
Right. A Snuggie.
Every seat gets a Snuggie and is a toilet.
Yes.
That would make my experience better. Not to know that there's 13 gentlemen waiting in line at 208 section. I don't give a shit.
And every armrest.
Right.
Courtesy call.
And this will get you back in the theater too, I would imagine.
Yeah.
That right.
With bidets. I want to throw that. If we're going to do it, we're going to do it right.
Warm bidets.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm not going to lie. Outdoor Comerica Park seats, April 8th, snow falling might not be the best experience.
I'll be there.
No, I meant from a bidet perspective.
Oh, I don't care. A little refreshing. Hey, we're going to be back in segment 2. Tom Kelly from Automation Alley. This is the IT and the D Show, and we'll be right back.
Hi, this is Jeremy London from Mallrats, and I'm just wondering, how did I go from Hot Floridian Sex with Brandy Spinning to the ITintheD Show?
IT in the D. Read, meet, listen. Networking Detroit, one beer at a time.
Hey, this is John Schneider from Nip Tuck Smallville, the haves and the have-nots. Oh, Dr. Quinn, Hot in Cleveland, Secret Life of the American Teenager, and just about everything you can possibly imagine. And oh yeah, the Dukes of Hazzard. You're listening to Bob and Dave. It's the IT in the D Show.
ITintheD.com.
This is a previously recorded episode of the IT and the D Show.
Welcome back, segment 2, episode 135, a very special Pi Day edition of the IT in the D Show, and we are live here in Podcast Detroit, beautiful Ferndale, Michigan. This is Bob the Sales Guy, here with Dave the Geek, Nuri the FNG. Find everything you need to know about us and everything on social, ITintheD.com, because we are ITintheD and you just
we're just never going to let that go.
No,
and then it's a good job at it too.
And the amazing part is you asked, "What's the best career podcast in town?" And everyone said it was us, and I giggled. Schmicken schmoes, you know who you are.
So, just from an order of business, we talked about the Pink Slip Party, our next event. So it is April 21st. Yet another Thursday, we're going back to the third Thursday, like we always do. We'll be in the familiar stomping grounds of the back room of the Blackfin for that one. Always a good place for the month after a PSP for the overflow folks that just hear about us for the first time.
And then back to the Hopcat in May.
Yeah.
Good times.
Yeah. Yay.
So we are joined by Mr. Tom Kelly. He is, I don't know what your title is exactly, but you are part of Automation Alley.
That's right. So you can call me whatever you want. Chief Operating Officer,
That's
Director
really
of
dangerous.
You can't tell us.
Believe me, I'll answer to anything. It's okay.
Right. Except wait for dinner.
Where's that bell you guys hit?
Where's the bell here? There we go.
There it is. Oh, thank you. Got 2.
So, how long has Automation Alley been around? Like I remember,
15 years.
It's
We
been
just
15
it's going
years
on
already.
16 years now. Believe it or not. Yeah.
Wow. So it was what 2000,
I've been
2001?
there too. So
right. But it was more or less. It's not just Oakland. Everyone thinks it's kind of just Oakland County, but it's not.
Everybody thinks that. That's so not true. We cover 8 counties.
There's a bunch, right? So when you're driving north on 75, it says an Automation Alley County or an Automation Alley County.
That's right. Oh, well, all 8 counties do that. So,
right.
Yeah, we have about 1,000 company members, and they're all over the 8-county region. Sorry, I'm going to knock you over here. Use my hands.
So, I mean, in terms of, is it, I don't want to say it's a giant chamber, but in essence, it kind of, getting everybody talking, getting everybody doing business together. Is that kind of the goal, or what's, again, I've met with him a few times. I know of him, and I met with Ken a few times, Rogers.
Yeah.
What's the ultimate goal? Is it collaboration?
Yeah, well, it's a number of things, right? So we have all these members, 600 of them are in manufacturing, and most of them are small, the vast majority. So out of the 1,000 members, there's probably 800 of them that are under 20 million or 10 million in revenue, right? So these are little manufacturers, the tool and die shops that are all over the place. And so what we try to do at Automation Alley is help get technology into those organizations, right? Automation Alley, you think it's about what technologies are coming, how do I compete with it used to be, how do I compete with China? Well, that story is actually changing because as things level out and 3D printing and speed to market becomes in vogue, Detroit's set up beautifully for the next 10 years as innovation. You can be a maker and you can actually make things very quickly and you can apply technology to them and you can get them out of the factory and you don't have to worry about logistics because your customers are here.
It's so great because, you think when you do business in other countries, your base is here in the United States. Right. You've got issues with quality assurance. You've got issues with different types of workers. You have issues with different climates. But basically, the quality is what suffers, and then the speed of doing things. Right? If you do it here in Detroit, you know who you're working with. You've got people. You've got good quality. You don't have to fly across the country or across the world to QA your products. You've got that all right here.
It's all right here, and
you look at the talent too, especially like the battery plants and all the companies that are like kind of moving here. They're like. I need to go to Michigan because look at all like the talent that's all been here from the old auto days to the ones that were homegrown.
That's right. The talent there's we're graduating about 10,000 STEM degrees. So that's people that are engineers, they're scientists, they're mathematicians. We graduate about 10,000 a year out of this Southeast Michigan. Silicon Valley graduates about 5,000. The problem we've had over the years is we graduate 10,000 and 9,000 go somewhere else.
Right.
Right. And the brain drain. And you think we get them all. We got to keep them all. And God bless what's happening in Detroit because the people that are coming out, the millennials, are like, hey, I want to live there.
So to segue in, you guys wrote a pretty interesting technology report. And it's funny because you were sharing during the break, and don't mind me if I say this, but you're like, hey, we weren't going to publish this. But the results were so damn good. It's like we have to make a parade for it. So I guess talk to me about what this technology report entailed and kind of some of the results you found.
Well, for the last 10 years we've done a technology report, and it's always been a little dry, a little stale. It's been very canned data where we use census data. Oh, look how good the regions are. And we'd compare ourselves to Boston, Austin, Chicago, Portland, Seattle, Silicon Valley, Raleigh-Durham, all the major hubs. And we say, how are we doing? Right? And they would all be this census data, pretty boring stuff. And this year we said, you know what? Let's do something different. Everything's going pretty well in Southeast Michigan. Let's take the top dog, Silicon Valley, and let's take 70 executives for tech companies in Southeast Michigan, and then let's find 70 executives in tech companies in Silicon Valley. Let's ask them the exact same questions, and let's see what happens. Not knowing oh my God, this could be a disaster, right? What if it comes out, Silicon Valley does kick our ass, right? But what happened was the results were spectacular. So to give you one of the stats, so 99% of the tech companies we interviewed in in Southeast Michigan said revenue was going to increase this year. 99%. Literally, there's one schmo who's going to lose revenue this year,
right.
But everybody else...
And he won't be there the year after.
And he won't be there, right? But everybody else predicted revenue growth. That boggled the mind. And out of that, 25% of those said revenue is going to go up 15% or more. You compare that to Silicon Valley where the numbers were much lower. So it was that stat floored me, that everybody we talked to was so optimistic
now
about
that's
the region.
700 technology companies.
70.
70. All right. Sorry.
70 and then 70. Now there's obviously, thousands in the area, but we're a nonprofit. We can only afford to talk to 70.
Understood.
At each place.
Right.
Yeah.
So, other than that, let's go through some of the other stuff you get some of the other information you got.
So we the three things that came out of the study were, one, the tech companies in Southeast Michigan were more optimistic about the revenue that they were going to generate here. They were much more optimistic about building their companies here and finding the talent to build their companies versus Silicon Valley executives. And the technology talent was more optimistic about building their careers and having a good quality of life in Southeast Michigan than Silicon Valley. So you put those three things together, you got good growth, optimistic owners of these tech companies. You got people that are here, that want to build their careers here and understand the quality of life you can have versus someplace like Silicon Valley.
Well, I mean, we've talked about this a million times. Yeah, sure, I'll listen to a company that wants to get me to move out to California if they're willing to start the conversation at 3x what I'm making right now.
Mm-hmm. I was stupid. I saw Google's name.
And by the way, a house is 4x.
Right.
so I think you would have lost on
but
that
you can
deal.
get those cool, nifty 100-year mortgages out there. That
the
your
average
grandkids can pay off your
serious?
house.
100-year mortgage?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Oh, yeah. Then they just pay the interest on it. So they hope the house appreciates so they can get out. If there's ever a collapse, everybody's screwed. But, the average salary for an IT person out there, program, is $184. Pretty damn good. Here, it's like $90. So you think, it's double. What a great life. But a house is 4x.
And
everything else is like 2x,
yep.
3x, right? So you start adding it all up.
And if you look at
the
what
traffic and the commute and everything.
And if you look at what I do, being a regional sales guy for one of the big box companies, we all make the same salary. It doesn't matter what side of town you're on. So like the guys who are in Boston are bitching about can't make their BMW payments, where I'm like, I'm high on the hog in Michigan. Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
So again, it's another reason, as much as I talk to people around, they go, well, doesn't it suck there? And I'm like, no, it's amazing here. It's great.
You know what's cool? There was a guy I was talking to. I won't reveal his name, but he worked for one of the major newspapers out of New York. There aren't many, so you can probably figure out which one we're talking. Right. But he was here, the bureau chief, and he said, I'm really regretting or not looking forward to the day when I rotate out, because this is the best quality of life I've had in all my rotations.
Wow.
I thought, that's cool.
Yeah, I think too about Silicon Valley, there's still a gender gap there too as far as like the pay, right? So a woman in Silicon Valley, according to Fast Company, only makes about 87% of what a man does. And then you look at Detroit, women make 122% of what a man does in IT. And almost 50% of the jobs are filled in IT in Detroit. So it's such a better climate for anything technology than Silicon Valley.
That's an awesome statistic. I want to steal that from you.
I'll give it to you.
I want to use that.
A very recent Fast Company article named Detroit the #1 city for women in IT.
Oh my gosh, that's fantastic. Well, it bears it out.
For women in entrepreneurship, it's also in there too. They talked about it. I mean, we got such a cool convergence going here in Detroit. We got 2 fiber companies feeding it. I mean, we got Rocket Fiber. And what's the other one's name?
You got 4 now.
Oh, 4 now?
Comcast is doing gigabit.
Yeah,
Comcast,
Lightning,
the guys from Lansing.
and 123.
Yeah, 123 and the guys from Lansing.
123.
Yeah.
Everything's just like an explosion of tech right here. It's awesome.
It's really
Lightning something or
ACD
other.
guys.
Yeah.
They're
Lightspeed.
rebranded.
Yeah,
Lightspeed.
Lightspeed.
Yeah. Great stuff happening in this whole area in the tech space. And so that report that we did really bore that out. And then, what's interesting is Wall Street Journal ran an article about a week after we did the report. And the article was all about people in IT fleeing Silicon Valley because it was too expensive.
Yeah, because this is what was the Silicon Prairie was what I saw in a couple articles recently.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Nuri has firsthand experience. I mean, you came from I said Sunnyvale. You corrected me.
That was in Mountain View.
Mountain View. But I mean, as far as the difference, obviously, cost of living is night and day.
So I was in a shitty apartment with 2 Google interns, and I was paying $1,000 for my bedroom. And the apartment built in the '60s, and it was right on the Caltrain. So every 10 minutes or so, pretty much 24 hours a day at the freaking Caltrain.
Like Blues Brothers, right?
So there's 3 people in the apartment?
3 people.
So you had $3,000 a month. And what was the place? Like 1,000 square feet or something?
It was a shitty little apartment. I mean, my mortgage here for an awesome house is less than $1,000 a month.
I used to be in IT. I owned a company in Detroit back in the early 2000s. I had a lot of business out in Silicon Valley. And we used to go out and we'd hire some guys to do some programming. And I go out there one time. It wasn't Mountain View. It might have been down near Santa Clara. Santa Clara. But they're living like 6 guys to an apartment, and each one of them was paying $800.
Yeah, I was looking at ads too. And some
Isn't
of the
that insane?
The Craigslist ads said you can stay here as long as you don't cook or light cooking, because everyone gets their meals at their companies, so they don't want you to actually cook in their house. I mean, it's just amazing, like the subculture of rentals that go on in that area because of the price. And then imagine spending an hour and a half on a bus every day to get from San Francisco down to the Bay.
Well, you talked to you remember that story where you talked about with the guys renting like an apartment and then subletting out 10 beds for $25 a night on Airbnb.
That was New York.
Yeah. So he's making $250 a day. and spending $2,000 and making $6,000 a month.
A couple of curtains.
Right, exactly. Curtains and mattresses, cheap mattresses on the floor.
Yeah, there's a reason Google feeds their people and Apple and everybody because they have to try and make up for that brainwashing that they're doing. This it's beautiful. You're great. You're happy. You got to be happy. We're all
Nap
happy.
pods, laundry. I mean, why do you need to leave? Why?
We'll assign you a girlfriend.
We'll wash your car.
Yeah.
Massage on site? Sure.
What's funny with my company, they don't want anybody in the office. Like none. They'll have customer experience centers in larger cities, but in smaller cities, they want us all home-based. They want us all in the field.
Yeah.
They want us all, and they want the office redesigned where it's more like bamboo and less like what hedgehog. What do they call it when everybody pops their heads up in
prairie dogging.
For prairie dogging. Yeah. Everybody pops their heads up in a cube farm hell. I mean, that's the most depressing.
Yeah.
Like have you ever gone to like CDW Quicken Loans? Have you ever sat in their call center?
No.
It's as big as a football field and it's a cube farm.
Where the walls are like so
4 feet
short.
tall. Yeah.
Even sitting, you can still see around all the walls.
And they try to make we're going to make them, this one's purple and blue and red. No, we're fun. And you get to bring your toys in.
Balloons everywhere.
Oh, I know.
Have you ever tried to work on a project and have, let's say the secretary sitting right next to you so you can see her face while she chats on the phone?
Oh. Well, I worked for Japanese for 3 years when I was with NEC, but it was all Japanese here. And the boss has to sit in the middle of the floor. And then the cubes are all around him in a circle so he can hear and see and everything.
That's awful.
And unless you're on a plane, you need to be sitting at your desk,
Couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Never do it again.
No, I didn't care. I was loud, and if you yelled at me to be loud, then I got to leave. So it was great, I mean, so what? So I guess after the release, so what's the point? Not the point. I'm trying to rephrase it so it doesn't sound what's the point of doing all this? It's stupid. But I mean,
I'll tell you.
I guess what's the goal? What was to promote the area, to try to
to promote the area both internally and externally. So let's take internally. Detroit has a complex that somehow we are not good enough because we hear it all the time that, oh, geez, poor Detroit. Look, we're all down on ourselves. We got to get our swagger and our confidence and say we can stand up to anybody. So we didn't do a report that says, oh, we middle in the middle somewhere. We did a tech report that said we're taking on the king of the hill and we're knocking him down. We're taking him out. Right? Because
now, to me, that's more the stereotypical Detroit attitude than the poor me.
Well, that's right, because you know it because you live here.
Yeah.
But the press comes in and they do the ruin porn and they do everything and they write the story.
Yeah, so external perception, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, isn't Detroit sad? And then you come here and the perception's totally different. And what else is great is we wanted to tell the story about the quality of life because, if you go to Silicon Valley, you get your security card and you go sit in the cube and eat your lunch at Google and then you have a great time. Here, you come in, you move in somewhere in Detroit, you figure out where your desk is, and the next day you make an impact. Right? Yeah. I mean, it's a great town to do that because it's still kind of a small pond. I mean, you can know everybody you need to know in a couple months.
We've said it
on the town.
We've said it a million times. Just from running the networking group for as long as we have. I mean, it's a very small, little incestuous community. I don't care how many people are in it.
Right.
It does it triggers an alarm bell for me. Like when someone tries to join our LinkedIn group, and I'm not at least a second degree connection to them.
Right.
If you don't know someone that I know.
You're a spammer. You're definitely spamming.
And you're from Singapore?
Or you say you're from here locally. I'm like, how does that work? Like, how do you not know me or Bob? Or But
the thing, I think in the entrepreneurial community, I don't think that wall's there, but there's still that new Detroit versus old Detroit thing that drives me absolutely bat crazy.
We still see it all the time. So we see it as a zero-sum game. So we're trying to cover 8 counties.
Thanks, Bob.
People say,
wind up on Flashpoint again.
I wish that would go away, where they still think that as people move around and they shift and things are happening in Detroit, that somehow someone else is losing. No, everybody's winning. The whole idea is who cares what you do within the metro area? Let's bring people from outside the metro area.
I'll put the brakes on that a little bit because there aren't necessarily people that are losing. There are people that are impacted, But that's the cycle of life in a big city. It's not, I've got a friend, art community, the whole thing out in the Bronx.
Right.
The Bronx is getting too expensive for her to live now.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's looking at moving. It's not it's great for the neighborhood. It just happens to suck for her. And that's a lot of that is going on downtown right now. And that's the cause of a lot of that strife is, you do have, but it was an interesting article. I forgot to shoot it to you guys, but there was they said one of the things it was talking about was how the change in society right now is roughly akin to what happened around the time that the Intercontinental Railroad and telegraph system hit. That the sudden huge influx of availability of information was displacing a lot of workers that, companies first found out I didn't have to have it done by the plant down the street. I could have my stuff made by somebody in Wichita. I didn't have to sell my stuff at the mom and pop store down the street. I could sell it in New York and life was good. And that sort of change is happening right now too. And it's causing some of that same friction that, according to the article, led up to the Civil War. Mm-hmm. And so you do have some of that perceived classism that's going on where, you have you have the more and more that software can do that people don't do. Great. All the money is going to the hands of the software makers. But what's happening to those people that are no longer doing those jobs? Mm-hmm. So there is still some of that going on, and I know that there are a lot of folks in Detroit, in and around Detroit, that are trying to help alleviate that issue. But I think that's part of the strife, Bob, is that people just don't understand. Hakuna Matata, it's the circle of life. That's what happens.
Is that what that means?
Yes.
I had no idea. Yeah. I just thought it was a song from Jungle Book.
Yes.
Oh, crazy.
Those the lyrics are in.
Oh, wow.
We actually think that. If you look back to the 80s and 90s and the start of the Great Slide, automation was viewed as the curse that, automation, robotics are going to come in and take our jobs. Automation didn't take our jobs. It should have been the savior. What happened was Mexico and China took all the jobs because the labor equation didn't match. So automation today actually is the great equalizer back to the United States because all the jobs already went to Mexico.
Right.
100 jobs go to Mexico. If I can get 10 back because now what took 100 in Mexico only takes 10 here, we can actually create a lot of jobs in Southeast Michigan by going down this automation path. And what happens is as you create wealth around those plants, it's actually the most cost-effective economic development you can do is manufacturing. There's the most spill-out jobs to service industries. So if you're talking about what do you do with these people that need to have careers and jobs around an automation plant, there's like a 7-to-1 spillover effect. So you bring 10 automation jobs back, you create 70 jobs around that. So I really think the next 10, 15 years are going to be quite telling for that.
Interesting.
I've been saying for years, outsource rural. I never understood the whole, hey, ship it to Mexico or ship it to China, have it built and then ship it back. There's got to be a way to do it in smaller town USA.
And it's here.
And it's here. And right. It makes – I'm sure they've done the math. But at the end of the day, it'd be nice to see all that stuff coming back.
Well, if you think about it, the only way that works is if I go to Mexico or China and I make a gazillion of them and I put them in boxes and I bring them all back here to distribute them to a Walmart somewhere to get them sold. Now, if everybody says, I don't want that anymore, I want my unique, customized little thing, and I'm going to have a little Google truck pull up and deliver it to me, it's got to get made somewhere.
Like
it can't be made in Mexico anymore.
I'd be dying to know the math, like if Apple made their stuff in Wichita and Nebraska, what that difference would be in cost delivery.
They've run numbers on that, haven't they?
They'd probably still lose because, again, you're at the iPhone commodity that says every iPhone that goes out of here is exactly the same.
Right. And they lose, like Xbox loses money on the box, but they make it on the software. I think it's the same with Apple.
Exactly.
So, Tom, we can reach out, obviously, at automationalley.com. Any events coming up or anything, items of note that you want to point out or?
Nothing I can think of. We have I guess one thing, we have a 7 C's, which is our entrepreneurship program and our second stage program. So that's a program that provides funding and consulting to both startups in the manufacturing world and second stage companies, those that are post-revenue, that have profit, and we teach them how to grow. And that seminar is actually tomorrow. It's short notice, I know, but that's coming up tomorrow morning.
So if you're listening live, hope you can go out to that. But if not, check them out, automationalley.com. Tom, appreciate you having out. Love to have you back in the future.
Very much.
And we'll be back. We'll be back, Scott Kennedy, talking all things Penguicon. This is the IT and the D show, and we'll be right back.
IT and the D. Read, meet, listen. Networking Detroit. One beer at a time.
Hi, I'm Brittany Daniel from The Game, and you're listening to IT and the D show.
ITintheD.com.
This is a previously recorded episode of the IT and the D show.
Welcome back, segment 3, very special Pi Day edition of the IT and the D show. We're at episode 135. We're hanging out here in Podcast Detroit in beautiful Ferndale, Michigan. This is Bob the Sales Guy, always here with Captain Soundboard, Dave the Geek. Nuri the FNG is buried in his laptop looking at houses. Find us online, ITintheD.com.
Trying to improve that quality of life.
Yep. And like I said, find us on the Facebook, like us on the Twitter, and then give us a review on iTunes. We would greatly appreciate it because we don't have enough. And they don't rank us, and we should be ranked because we are the number 1 ranked technology podcast on SoundCloud this week.
Yeah.
So what the hell? Go for iTunes, then Stitcher, then Podcast Domination.
And then the world.
But we are, luckily, we are joined, last-minute guests. We appreciate you coming. Scott Kennedy is in the house. We're talking one of our favorite subjects, all things Penguicon.
It's coming up again.
So, Scott, tell us, what is Penguicon?
The setup. The setup is great. So Penguicon is like if you took a science fiction convention and you smashed it together with an open source conference. So, we also cover probably a dozen other tracks, but those are our major themes.
So the interesting thing I found out about Penguicon, more so than everything else, it's very much, I don't want to call it open source, but it's very much reliant on, like Nuri, you introduced me to it, like the one phrase was like, we want everyone here knows something. Teach me what you know, and let's all be better for it.
It's community driven. So our panels are, we have some panels that are based on our guests of honor, but we have a lot of panels that come from our community of geniuses in diverse fields who are interested in, of course, IT stuff, of course, open source software, circuitry, soldering, Arduino, blah,
whiskey,
blah, blah, but also whiskey, right? How to make your cheese, cross stitching, cosplay, everything.
Shillelagh fighting.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And what's different with Penguicon that's not the same about you, we go to Motor City Comic Con, we go to Great Lakes Comic Con. This is not a Comic Con.
No.
So this is not a gigantic nerd mall. This is mostly programming and education.
Yes. Right.
And also parties. And of course there's dealers' rooms and things
there's
like
a maker's market. There is a dealer. I mean, there's still stuff there to buy, but it is not the main focus of what's going on.
We are nonprofit and community. We're volunteer run, and part of what that means is that everything that we have at Penguicon is supposed to be something that is good value or interesting for everybody who's coming. So rather than having like special VIP passes that cost you twice as much, rather than saying our guests of honor charge $50 for a signature or whatever, we say you pay at the door or you pay through our pre-registration, and that is all you pay. Maybe if you decide to like solder up an LED board, you might pay materials cost. But beyond that, everything else is free of charge.
Including my favorite, free beer.
Free beer, free hard cider, free food, in our snack area, not including the restaurant.
Did you say free beer?
Yes.
Free beer.
Not like in tomorrow free beer, like actual free beer.
Yeah, actual
and
free
really
beer.
good free beer.
Oh, yeah, we do quality beer.
Because where'd that come from last year?
I don't know.
Falling Down was kind of a help on that one. Absolutely. Thanks, Falling Down.
So, it's about 1,500 people over the weekend. It's a very nice hotel, which is almost sold out.
I think the Westin in Southfield, Detroit is completely sold out.
Yeah. But we have a hotel right next to it in the parking lot, the Holiday Inn, which has plenty of rooms available, so you can just walk over there.
But the one thing that amazed me last year was my first experience with it. And
was watching me?
No. The fact that the fourth floor is like open door, like in
room parties everywhere.
Room parties.
Yeah. So this year, our room parties have expanded a lot, and
we heard there's a great one.
2 floors, maybe.
I think there may be actually 3 floors of room party. There were 12 people looking for large suites for the room parties, plus the other people that are just going to have parties.
Yeah.
So basically, after the programming is done, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, walk around, and it's one big, gigantic fiesta.
Yeah. And they're huge.
It's like Mardi Gras, but inside.
Right. So you might have like a party where it's got like a DJ and lights and a bar and all that. And you might have another party that is a Stitch and Bitch. That's one that's planned.
What's that?
People get together and cross stitch and hang out and drink.
Craft and talk shit.
Yeah.
Seriously. Or you can have a party for like a board game, right? People could be sitting around playing Dominion or something like that. So the parties, in fact, I went to a party at a SisterCon that had a ball pit in it.
Yeah, right.
Literally had constructed a ball pit in their hotel room, and I'm like, I'm so happy right now.
Or sometimes we have like a Linux user group might throw a party, so you might walk into a party and find everybody is talking tech while drinking. Just a huge range.
Or, getting lit on fire or karaoke.
It's a private party this year.
Yeah.
We can't advertise that one.
So yeah, I mean, we got a crazy set of programming. We're just now getting to the point of finalizing our programming. So within the next 2 days.
Well, how many hours total? Like it's an obscene number.
I don't have a number yet for this year, but last year it was around 450 hours of programming. And 100 hours of that programming was solely tech.
And that's in 50 hours or so? Because it's Friday afternoon through Sunday afternoon.
From 4 until Sunday around 4 or 5. Yeah.
And I want to say this year, Dave, your birthday is Thursday or Friday? What does it fall on?
The 27th, whenever that
my
is.
birthday is Sunday.
Yes, that would be
Nice. My birthday is going to have the worst hangover known to man if it's anything like last year.
That's our plan.
And think about that, 450 hours of programming, all taught by volunteer people.
Yeah.
It's people in our community.
And these aren't just necessarily random Joes. Like our tech paneling has been put together by a really great guy who has, he's got some reps from Ubuntu there. He's got reps from other major organizations teaching about the programs that they have become experts at. We have a senior sysadmins panel, which is all, people who've been sysadminning for at least 20 years.
The founder of BeagleBone comes and does stuff about that. So the community manager of Canonical, the Ubuntu folks, they're there. Red Hat is usually there. It's the amount of really off the grid but really big names in technology come to Penguicon for the weekend and kind of cut loose.
And a little more to technology is also some of the other tracks. Like you had the girl that was giving the demonstration on the leading cutting edge neuroscience going on. That was really a cool talk, talking about people being able to control things with their mind. People who are disabled that could. If you've seen the video where the person feeds themselves with a spoon, this is the girl that helped make that possible. And then she did a talk and volunteered her time there. I mean, she's pretty up there. Amazing talk too.
We actually have a guy from TED Talks coming, right? The guy who did the Backyard Brains, who actually how to control someone else's body with your mind. Is that his TED Talk?
Yeah.
He's going to be here this year.
If you look up, that's Greg Gage.
Yeah,
if you look him up on TED,
I helped him book a room.
Stuff. Yeah, right. Two of our guests of honor are professors from U of M that they do warehouse scale computing, and so they made an open source alternative to Siri called Sirius. And
seriously,
and so they have panels on that, and on the concept of using the powers of open source and sort of a bunch of people working together to gather up enough data to compete with somebody like Google or Apple. So we've got them coming. We've got Dangerous Things coming back. I know they're doing the Future of Biohacking panel, and they're doing a demo. If you decide that you would like to implant an RFID chip in your hand so that you can open doors or unlock your phone.
Or be tracked by the government.
Or be tracked by the government if the government is less than a foot away from your hand.
Saw that happen last year. It was
cool as shit.
Yeah, but it was slack-jawed amazement that it was going on.
You may not want it for yourself, but just watching somebody embed it in their hand and then be able to essentially open up their laptop as if they were using a fingerprint or whatever, but a little slightly more.
You can make everyone at Podcast Detroit get one of those implanted so they can just kind of beep in the door, never losing their tag ever.
They also do.
Can we modify it so that it gives them a shock if we see them doing something wrong on the camera?
Like bringing in 20 of their friends.
They also implant biologically safe magnets, which allow you to feel electromagnets, motors, anything like that. They said that the hum of electricity in the United States feels different than it does in Europe because of the different voltage, different cycles. Different cycles.
Right.
Yeah, you can actually feel the cycles. So, I mean, not that this is something that you necessarily want to do, but there are people out there who are like, we are going to, whether you like it or not, we are going to advance.
It's not a question of like. It's
what the body can do.
Why?
A
cool whip.
A cool whip.
It's part of that concept of what is the future going to look like? Are we going to say that the best that humanity can do is whatever evolution has given us? Or are we going to head towards that world where you can kind of see what happens with technology?
Evolution's too slow.
Right.
So last year you had one of my favorite charities I've ever seen or been involved with was basically that you're making like Batman and Terminator hands for kids that had missing appendages. Yeah. Instead of having this like $30,000 one from Wright and Philippus, you're getting one for like $40.
Yeah, enable the future.
Are they? So what other? Are they going to be there this year? And what other charities are involved?
We have a panel that's going to they're going to come back and talk about what has happened with Enable in the coming year. Last year we were able to provide, I believe it's around 50 3D printed prosthetic hands for their charity organization to give to people across the country and across the world who have maybe landmines or genetic defects that cause them to not have an arm. Children obviously grow, and the limbs that they get that are $30,000, they grow out of them.
Look like Chubbs from Billy Madison, and then
we buy expensive shoes for your kids, right? It's
right.
Yeah.
So it's an amazing charity. We love working with them. This year, we're working with All Hands Active, which is a hackerspace in Ann Arbor. It's a small little scrappy hackerspace that every summer does a program where they invite kids in from all over the region and teach them how to think critically, ask questions, experiment, and write up real research papers that they help them get published. And obviously that's something that can take longer than a summer, so they work with them from that point forward to try to get those published. So they're basically investing in kids the idea that they themselves can make a difference and can learn something that no one else currently knows and get that published.
Randy on Twitter wants a magnet in his finger. If they can make that happen, we'll make that happen.
Come, we've got Dangerous Things will be there all weekend, and they've got plans to do live implants.
They ran out of their implants last year.
They did.
Right?
They know better this time.
That's scary.
They did. Yeah, it's
no
really,
likey.
It's fascinating. I mean, the RFID implant that they use is functionally identical to the veterinarian RFID implant. It's a tiny glass capsule. You can't even really feel it. Not that I have one currently, but I'm thinking about it. But anyway, yeah, and you can encrypt it so that other people can't mess with it, and then use your own app on your phone to change the data that's in it. So it's cool.
Crazy stuff.
Yeah, that's just like one tiny, tiny thing that's at Penguicon. There is so much there that you will never see everything that you want to see in 1 year. Impossible.
I would buy that, and to me, like honestly, like so it's nothing we haven't talked about before. It was eye opening, for me last year. I mean, it was like, holy crap, this is where I'm supposed to be.
Dave and I both wrote blogs within 2 days of leaving, and we haven't done it since and didn't do it before for any event we've ever went to.
I mean, do you want to go to an Ubuntu release party that's held in the bar and talk to the people from Ubuntu at the same time about what's new? Go ahead. Do you want to go to a key signing party with a bunch of open source luminaries essentially affirming your identity? we've got that. You know, I've got a quick list here. You guys are the first to hear of our programming this year. We don't
ITintheD exclusive.
That's right. We don't even have it on our website yet. We will in a couple of days.
Need that current events.
So you could learn. We have panels on rapid prototyping on Android, the technology of asteroid mining from Planetary Resources. We've got intro to big data tools. Build your own router. This is super important. I don't know if you're aware of the new FCC rule that essentially tells router manufacturers to block users from changing their own firmware. So things like the Tomato router and other kinds of software that people like to use on their own routers at home, they're going to basically tell you.
God forbid you should modify slightly something that you own.
Right. So screw the FCC and build your own router out of a tiny PC.
Thanks, Scott. The FCC's now coming to Penguicon.
Well, that's fine. We'll give them a panel.
Why we're such dicks by the FCC.
Right? So we've got a panel. It's called Pirate Games. It's one guy dressed as a pirate playing 5 or 6 individual pirate games with a bunch of other people. So he just sort of run around playing in all of the games at the same time. It's madness.
In an age of piracy.
Right, age of piracy. We've got 3D printed. It's a print and play D&D. So you basically go up, and that's sponsored by our guys Liquid Web, and they will print up a D&D figure for you to use to play in a D&D game, and I'm assuming you get to take that home.
Ooh.
Right?
Well, have you ever played D&D before?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got all the things.
We got a panel. That's
I got all the dice. I got all the books.
You should have a night. It's
silicone casting for cheap bastards. So I think that's awesome. If you want to, we have a robot build that's happening. We have a panel about building your own satellite. So I3 Detroit is another local hackerspace.
We know right down the street.
Yeah. They're hoping to make the first makerspace-based CubeSat satellite that will go up into space, right?
Dude, that's so
And they're going to
cool.
talk about that.
What is it going to do?
I don't know. You got to go to the panel.
You got to go to the panel.
Everything else does porn.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Provide faster nudity. That's what it's going to do.
We've got a guy who, from scratch, he's an engineer. He's an electrical engineer. He built his own DIY electric car. If you search for Avenger GT EV, that's his car. He's bringing the car. He's going to have a bunch of cool signage. He's going to have a couple of panels to talk about how he went from scratch to build his own EV car, right? If you want to learn soap making, we've got a panel on that. Whiskey tasting, we've got that. Speed dating and speed friending. So, you want to go do, I don't know, speed friending, we got that for you. Engineer's Guide to Self-Defense. We've got Surviving a Nuclear Holocaust panel.
I'm just upset that the Flirting for Geeks panel was canceled because of the two panelists have been married for almost 15 years each.
Yeah, that happens, right? Right?
Is it too late? Somebody could
It can
probably
still
fix
happen.
that.
And we still have a couple of empty spots in our program.
That was a full crowd last year. That was fun.
It always is. It's a super full crowd.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, we get standing room only for that panel.
I will make it a point to get fillers if we need more diversity on that panel.
We need some more diversity on that panel. Right.
Yeah, so we've got fitness boot camp. We've got, you want to do panel on
it's all you.
Yeah, I'll get right on that.
erotica and speculative fiction, self-publishing in 2016.
Wait, what's speculative fiction?
Speculative fiction is
Flash
science
Gordon.
fiction and fantasy count as speculative fiction.
Gotcha.
Princess Aura, go.
Right? We got a writing workshop. We've got Geeks with Guns, which happens just before the convention.
So what is Geeks with Guns, Scott?
Geeks with Guns is where a bunch of geeks get together at a shooting range and they help to show each other how to fire their weapons and how to be safe. And then I believe this year they're planning.
So now the
an
FCC
event.
and the ATF will be at Penguicon.
Exactly.
The NSA already comes. They do.
I have a SWAT Mossberg 12-gauge combat shotgun. Can I bring it?
Wow.
If you can bring it to the range, then you can. Bring
totally.
it. Yeah. So that's actually. You can just contact our Geeks with Guns guy, and he'd be happy to have you. Open source martial arts, blues dancing. We've got
martial arts.
Yeah. We've got an intro to parkour class. Would you like to learn the beginnings of being a parkour guy or girl?
What the hell?
There you go.
Can I be the first one to say what the hell's parkour?
You don't know what parkour is?
How do you not know what parkour?
Holy crap!
No.
Have you ever seen videos? It's often like some of the more recent James Bonds. You'll see them like running through a industrial area or a bunch of office buildings, and they're leaping through the building like through windows and and grabbing onto ledges and rolling off.
Yeah.
That's real stuff. That really happens.
They call that parkour.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was just called
it's called free running.
Yeah, I knew it as free
Same thing.
running.
Same exact thing, right?
What makes for epic fail videos.
Oh, yeah,
right.
You screw that up. And
when it's done
over,
wrong, it's
right?
awesome.
There's a panel on scarf fighting, which is apparently a traditional fighting technique. I am very interested to see how that goes. Pre-production for film. We got a ton of things. Like I couldn't even possibly scratch the surface in this podcast of how many things we have.
Well, no, and that was the thing. I mean, it's one thing to hear the number of hours of programming. It's another thing to run through a list of stuff that's going to be there. Folks, the bottom line is, seriously, if there is not something at Penguicon that you geek out about, you are not a geek. Period. End of story.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, you can be a geek about anything. I mean, if you're somebody who just loves food, you consider yourself a foodie, and you're like, oh, but I'm not really a geek because I don't do computer stuff. So what? We have people there who are passionate about what you're passionate about, have panels on it, and if you don't see that something that's there for you, that means that next year you should be putting on.
I thought I was a geek until I met you people, and then you put me in my place.
You?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
which is fine. It's not a contest.
It's not a contest. That's right. But the thing is that it's such a great social space at the same time as it is a learning space.
Type A sales guys don't do well at Penguicon. I learned that last year.
Yeah.
Well, no, probably one of the funniest moments for me the entire weekend was, I ran into Ferret, who was the best man at my first wedding. Hadn't seen him in 10, 12 years. Went off to Alaska, did that thing, and came back. Ran into him, and I'm standing there just nerding out, playing catch up, and we're talking this and we're talking that, and a couple other people are babbling, and then a couple other people I hadn't seen. And I look over and I see Bob out of the corner of my eye, who's just sitting on the low wall outside the restaurant, just kind of looking around. And so I broke away and I'm like, dude, you all right? And he was like, no, I'm good. I've just never really seen you quite at this level before.
Right.
Go do you.
You realize Ferret has written 2 really awesome books.
Yeah, he's
too?
got.
I know. We've talked about having him in here before.
It's going to be a trilogy. He's not working on his third. Yeah.
But hey, we're coming up to the end of the segment. Sorry to cut you short. We could talk about this for a whole entire show.
Maker Market, so much to say.
Yeah. But
I'm pretty sure we'll have him back between now and the end of April.
Absolutely. We'll definitely we'll book you right before the event. But all things Penguicon or penguicon.com.
Org.
.org.
Yeah,
you don't have the .com? Oh,
Non-profit.
I'm sorry, nonprofit, right?
I believe penguicon.com is something dirty, so don't go there.
Well, it's like whitehouse.com.
Right. Penguicon.org.
Yeah.
And you'll be posting as that.
Programming should come out in the next couple of days.
Perfect. I'm sure a lot of people are looking forward to it. And we are looking forward to going. Ladies and gentlemen, Scott Kennedy, Penguicon. We will be back with Tom Lawrence, and this is the IT in the D show, and we'll be right back.
IT in the D. Read, meet, listen. Networking Detroit. One beer at a time.
Hey guys, it's Ty Mogg, Bruce Leroy from The Last Dragon. You're listening to the ITintheD show.
ITintheD.com.
This is a previously recorded episode of the IT in the D show.
And welcome back. Happy Pi Day. This is episode 135 of the IT in the D show, and we are broadcasting live here in Podcast Detroit in Ferndale, Michigan. This is Bob the Sales Guy hanging out with Dave the Geek, Nuri the FNG.
Ahoy, ahoy.
Find us online, ITintheD.com. And let's jump right into things. We took a little long with Penguicon, but we have Tom Lawrence in the house, the owner of Lawrence Technologies and the host of the Sunday Morning Linux podcast. What is up, Tom?
Hey,
him early on Sunday mornings. That's
why. Let me ask the elephant in the room. What possessed you to get up at 8 in the morning to do a Linux podcast?
No, they're here at 8 live, which means they're getting up significantly before that to get here.
Why?
We love torture.
Is that what it is?
I've been surviving Linux desktop. I've been preaching it like, you really got to try this XFC and everything else years ago. So we like torture. And, before Linux was even good at doing the desktop. So that just kind of plays into the ethos of why we like Linux and everything else. It's finally gotten better, but we still have tortured ourselves. And I like when Dave said, "Are you sure?" He goes, "Under the magic of radio, Tom, you can say you're the Sunday."
Yeah, I'm like, well, yeah, you can record like Saturday afternoon, and then we'll drop it for you Sunday morning.
But we do it. We do it every other Sunday morning. We are here, and we actually get here about 7:15 or so. You can check the swipe and confirm it.
If you have any live listeners, I bet you could sell them anything. I just want to leave that on the table.
Yeah, those are the dedicated crowd.
There's some diehards on there.
So, we just saw you at the Pink Slip Party. So I guess let's talk about that real quick, and then we'll dive into what you're doing. So what do you think of the event, and what from a user's perspective, what do you get out of those kind of events?
I go there for a lot of networking. Right now, my company we've been pretty steady growing, and we're expanding, and so I'm going to be hiring pretty soon some more people. So I like to keep my contacts in a network. I also I've always part of the ethos of my business is referring other people. So I know people ask me, "Can you do this or do you do this?" I keep a good Rolodex of other people in the IT industry, because if I don't do it or it's something I'm not going to get into. Yeah. You're right. I don't use anything paper.
Fax them your documents.
So I'll refer out people, and I know sometimes people looking for jobs, and I can steer them right direction. I mean, you guys do an awesome job at the events. I get to meet a lot of other IT people, and just networking and people with a like mind is great.
So, obviously not having to weed through insurance people and chamber salespeople are added benefit, right?
Yeah.
But what is it that your company does, just to get to the crux of it?
Overall, IT services, that's a really broad term. So very specifically, we focus on IT services for small business, generally companies with less than 20 workstations, but we do have a lot of clients that have over that. So we have about 420 clients in the Downriver area that we do outside IT for.
Wow.
Some of our larger clients include like Novi Cadillac, several Chrysler dealerships, and Green Lancer. We're launching a new build-out project for them. A lot of the smaller ones are your mom-and-pop manufacturing shops. And we classify as small business not by this revenues, but by the number of computers. We have some manufacturing companies that are doing about $20 million a year because they have government contracts and almost an acre facility full of CNC machines, but that only requires 6 people on computers to build out what they do. So they actually find themselves kind of in a lull for small business IT going, we don't appear big enough for those guys unless they want to sell some managed service contract for thousands a month. They're like, why should we spend thousands a month? We have 3 computers and 2 run QuickBooks, and we send email. That's all we have to do to run this business.
So when you say IT services, what is that? Is like a soup to nuts, or is that just like here's my Windows desktop, here's my printer, or is it here's my small voice over IP key system?
Yeah, it's a little bit of everything. We do turnkey top to bottom for them, so we're going to help them build out the infrastructure, even if it's a small 4 office. We'll help them build out the infrastructure. We make sure all their computers are up and running. We have a really interesting hybrid managed services plan where we put them on a really low-cost managed services plan so we can do monitoring and make sure the patches are updated, but then we charge them break-fix prices if we have to come out for anything. So instead of that, all-you-can-eat managed services, we're doing it at somewhere in between, which kind of fits well for small business. They like it because they have a lower spend, but they're still getting antivirus, they're still getting patches. We still have remote access to their machines because majority of the problems are like anyone else's. I forgot my password. It's Monday, so we can log in there.
And Friday was Monday. Well, no, and Friday was change your password day.
Yeah, Friday was change your password day. So we just make sure and keep up everything.
My child told me actually this weekend. She goes, "Dad, you should change your password on all your stuff to incorrect because when you do it wrong, it says your password is incorrect, and then you know what it is." I'm like, "Yeah, it doesn't work like that."
Back in the day, I had a lady who I'd set her password to "I forgot." And like, "What's my password?" I'm like, "I forgot," and she's like, "Okay, thanks."
The owner of one of our accounting firms had a really rough Monday. I changed his password at 8 a.m. because he couldn't remember what it was. And by 9, he called me back and said, "I forgot again what I changed it to." And I'm like, "All right, dude, just go home." That's
right. You lose this.
Call it a day.
Call it a day. You're probably not going to do anything good.
So tell me, you guys are also, I'm seeing a lot of your activity on Facebook. You're making green screen videos. So is this just because you got a green screen and it's the coolest thing in the entire world and you like to be Superman flying through the sky, or what's the thing with the green screens?
Yes and yes. It's from a green screen. Part of what we're doing is a lot of it is documentation. So we film what my guys do. I have I've spent probably about $3,000-4,000 on cameras and lighting and equipment, and we start producing YouTube videos. So some of my YouTube videos and some of them on firewalls, like I was talking about earlier, I'm actually going to be doing some of the panels on firewalls at Penguicon. I've got over 70,000, 80,000 views. So who knew people wanted to listen to me talk about firewalls for this long? And I do some demonstrations, and we're also doing for part of the training is I have camera set up overhead. So as my guys take apart laptops, we film it. Then I take what was 20 or 30 minutes of replacing a screen laptop, cut it down to a 4-minute video, and turn it into how you fix a screen, how you do this.
Dude, it's cool.
Yeah, and that's it drives a lot of business my way. So I get a lot of contract business even from out of state where people are sending us stuff, fixing touchscreens, or just explaining how to do it for people. It also is a reference for when I hire new people. So part of my training process is, hey, watch the videos we already produced.
Yeah, we have a channel. Go watch it.
Yeah. So as we're building up a lot of subscribers on the channel, it's been really good for business because, it gives you yourself the perception of that you're an expert in a business because people are viewing the videos. The firewall ones specifically have me to out-of-state contracts for editing and setting up and configuring open source firewalls, specifically pfSense.
Wow.
So I also guest on several other podcasts about how to build your computer business. I run everything in my business on side of open source, and anything we do, we either put on GitHub, including I'm working on putting the point of sale system that we wrote, which is custom in-house on GitHub. The only reason I haven't yet is because I'm a horrible coder, and it's got I've got passwords in the code. I won't lie. All right, there's a lot of profanity. There's I couldn't figure out why I wouldn't reference this external file, and it's because I suck at PHP, but it works. We have over 5,600 clients in there and 30,000 invoices in there, and I'm eventually going to open source it. I got a couple of people from Wayne State working on it. A couple of my friends are, Tom, we're going to help you through this. And we're eventually going to put it all on GitHub and give it away. Like I said, the only reason I'm not giving it away yet is because it's really bad.
Write some really crude stuff in your comments.
Yes.
Oh, dude, me and code comments are terrible.
Yeah.
Oh, this shit doesn't work. Fix this sometime.
I search for the F word. That's where I find the spots that when someone says, hey, Tom, I got some time. I'll help you fix some code. I'm like, just search for the F words in the comments. That's the stuff that
That's where I need the most help right there.
Yeah, that's where I need the most help.
Or variables. I've got temp bullshit as a variable name. I do that a lot. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, and if Johnny Drop Tables ever comes to my office, we got a really big problem because I'm not real sanitized on the table.
Little Bobby Tables.
So there's a few issues there to work out, but overall it does work. And I've actually started putting together some of the all the screenshots of how to do that. So I'm going to be giving it away to other computer stores because it kind of scares me. A lot of these companies they're open sourcing things, and I'm sorry, not go roll back a little bit. All these companies, like you see them having closed source products, and they're putting all their customers' passwords in there, and then they're a web hosted company. You kind of look like a target. And for us, part of our system is the fact that we have all the clients' passwords. So I have 400 companies, 400 plus companies. I have all their passwords, their Wi-Fi, their RDP servers, VPN information, all stored in my database. That's kept double locked down, VPN, double firewall in my office on a separate network from the consumer network. We take a lot of security precautions on that. These other companies are like, oh, let me sign up for www.whatever.com and I can store all my customers' passwords like a CRM in there. Great. It's only $10 a month. Great.
Perfect. What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah.
Data center in
Indonesia. So I think kind of an open source solution that's why I want to give my product away is because I think there's some security where you host it in-house, you follow these guidelines, and you keep your customers' passwords a little safe because you're a target in the cloud. So we have that's kind of my ethos for open source and everything else. It's a lot of what we do. So.
Interesting. I'm just curious. My first thought is how many of those people that have already gone down that $10 a month road are going to go ahead and grab what you put out there because now they suddenly have to do everything in house and they have to pay attention.
Yeah, that's a trick. There's a lot of I like the term they use is the pizza techs. I'll fix your computer for a pizza.
Right.
And those are probably the same target audience for those guys. And it scares me how many larger companies, because they started out using their cousin's brother's friend, doing IT, and when he comes out and he does stuff and they think stuff's kind of secure until they get completely owned on their network. Where we've had companies,
sure, let's put your point of sale system on this Comcast connection that you had dropped in to get internet.
Not VLANing everything out, not thinking about security and things like that. So we come in there, and unfortunately we've had a couple. I don't know if I can completely call them customers. They were customers that would not follow any type of advice. One of them finally is getting off Windows XP. The phone call I had with them the other day was they're trying to figure out how they can sue the guy from Dubai, that's where I traced the IP address to, who stole $20,000 out of their account. By going in there, they had no two-factor authentication on their email. They were using a Google Apps hosted services, and they're running Windows XP. And I'm just like, guys, you have to get off this.
One, you really can't, and two, you should. It's worth $20,000 to find out how bad your security sucked.
Yes. And the scariest thing about this company is they're doing about $70 million a year. It really is such a drop in the bucket. I want to say their name, but I will say the size of the company would shock you, and the name would shock you. Like, they're that big. That company only have about 15 workstations, but they kind of combine with me coming in and fixing when the owner's nephew can't come in because I don't know why he doesn't show up. But yeah, those are some of the things we deal with. So there's some interesting challenges working in the small business market. They're not like the larger IT companies who go, okay, we understand this is a serious deal. Computers run our company. They're in manufacturing. If the computers are shut down, they're very unhappy. They can't get billing out, but it doesn't stop the actual production that goes on their facility. So they kind of, we'll spend a little money on it. We'll spend as little as possible on it. We'll keep running these old Windows XP computers.
It's like insurance, right? So do I really need the premium insurance for cybersecurity?
We had a great conversation with them. After they lost us money, it's been a whirlwind of change there. They're lining up all new computers for all the office.
They've become a great customer, buying all kinds of stuff.
We turned on two-factor on every email account for every executive. It's amazing, all in one day.
Nice.
So, yeah, we're kind of broad stroke because we do get into helping them pick out like a VoIP provider. We might get in and help them picking out internet. A couple other distinguishers that makes my company a little bit different is we don't do any product lock-ins, so we're not reselling any products. And the reason for that is we always want to recommend the best solution to the client as opposed to whatever solution makes me the most money.
Right.
I hate the phone calls I get from IT vendors, especially antivirus is one of the most annoying. Antivirus sucks. I don't know any of them that I would say is foolproof and would protect my
None of
life.
them are.
None of them are. And there's a new one. I can't remember the name, but I love the first thing the sales rep told me. My commissions are way better than whatever you're selling now. I'm like, does your product suck? That's how we responded.
That's not the answer I was looking for.
That was the opening line?
That was the opening. My commissions are better than whatever you're selling. That was his opening line to get me to sell his product. I said, good news. It probably is because I'm selling nothing. And does your product suck? And he just kind of laughed. And he told me the name of the product. I looked at it. I said, do you know your reviews are absolutely horrific on Bleeping Computer? And he goes, oh. I'm like,
that's a thing?
Yeah. And I said, so I'm just going to hang up now and go from there.
Well, but you're hitting on a lot of the high points that, I know we've had this conversation before. That is the challenge, is companies who there's always been a huge growth market potential dealing with small to medium-sized companies. The problem is the headaches that come along with dealing with small to medium-sized companies. That 1 to 99, or even 1 to 50, employees. They haven't yet made that transition to thinking like a corporation. They're still thinking like a garage band.
Yes. And we've watched it. I watched one of my companies, and they've done a really good job of helping us. When we started with Pronto Fake, so we've been in business for 13 years, and Pronto Fake's been a client for about maybe 9-10 years when they started. And they were just small mom and pop with a couple guys building things, and now they have a huge 25 dock cross stock, and they've got like 30 computers, large company. But they're one of the companies that I've been really good friends with the owner, and we've gone back and forth, and they've grown with it. And to avoid so much growing pains, they're not a problem. Like, whatever we need to spend, you just let us know, and we'll take care of it. So we've now built out, this is their third building they've moved to and expanded to, and it's nice when I like clients like that. But then I have some of these other clients like that are the ones you're talking about that like they can't concept. They just got all these revenues and they got bigger, but they're trying to do everything half-ass backwards.
Yeah, what do you mean I have to spend, $2,000 on new computers for everybody?
Yeah, their nephew is still helping out with IT on the weekends.
Yeah.
Those are always a little bit trickier environments, but we handle them all well. We're just always very upfront with them. It's very clear on how we do. Usually those ones are not the ones that want to sign up for any type of managed services.
Right.
So it's just break-fix billing for them. And I don't want to say build the crap out of them, but we just build them for all the dumb things. Like, we come in and we're point blank. Look, your nephew is here. He changed this. He broke this, and we're here to fix it. Right. And you're going to get billed for it. Well, what do you mean? I say, yeah, he came in and screwed this up, made it worse. So now you have to pay for us to
undo
it, and then we can fix the original problem that he thought he was fixing.
So Tom, I got Ian on Twitter wants to know if you've ever seen Household Hacker, and what's your thoughts?
Household Hacker. No, I don't think so.
I think that's a no. I don't know if it's a series of YouTube clips because you do all the YouTube clips. Apparently it's a I'll look it up too because I haven't seen it either. But Household Hacker.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen that one.
Okay, fair.
So that would be a no.
Right. Close it. I was hoping for an answer there. Damn it. So we're getting close to the end of the show. How do we find you online? And I know we'll see you at most of the events, but
easiest way to find me is at lawrencesystems.com, my website. There's an easy way to click on there, find my contact information, tom@lawrencesystems.com. Then from there you can find links to my YouTube, my personal Twitter's linked down there, company profile, and all that fun stuff. or listen to me on the
see.
Detroit.
Hear him here on Sundays.
So I'm on air.
Don't get up I don't recommend getting up at 8 in the morning to listen.
Catch it syndication, right?
You don't have to. These guys have an app for that, so you don't have to wake up in the morning. You can listen to it. Plus, you can listen to the edited version, not the raw version. We cut out all the and whatever.
We don't do that.
We don't do that either. Because because we don't.
We're like the raw grit.
Yeah.
That's what we tell ourselves.
As long as it helps you sleep at night. Tom, appreciate you hanging out. Scott, appreciate you hanging out.
Yeah.
This has been another fun, informative edition of the IT and the D show.
Go figure.
Yeah, I know, right? It's good to be back. I hate missing a week. You have no idea. It drives me nutty. But yeah, it's good to be back, and we will be here next week. So do us a favor, drink up your drinks, get your phone numbers. You don't got to go home. You just got to get the hell out of here. This is the IT and the D show. See you next week. Drive careful. Beat it.
The emergency destruct system is now activated.
Conan, what is best in life? To crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentation of their women.
Long live Flash! You've saved your Earth. Have a nice day.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Nice shooting, son. What's your name?
Murphy.
Make the run. The run. Game over, man. Game over. It's over, Johnny. It's over. Nothing is over. Nothing. You just don't turn it off.
I can't say no, and I don't really want to, so.
Well, especially with the back doors open.
Yo! Hold up! Time out! Time out! Y'all take a chill. You need to cool that shit out. And that's the double truth. Ruth.
Bob loves it in the can.
I hope this was as much fun for you as it was for me.
That's why I like it in the can.
Joe on the truth.
Fear me.
My job is to make sure this program is morally upright and cultural and wholesome.
Shut up, Mimsy! Shut up, Mimsy! Shut up, Mimsy!
Why would Buick put their cars next to the Bentleys? Why? That's not marketing.
The alphabet.
It's brilliant.
Yeah, I can't take that position.
That analogy sucks because it's right. Because you're getting your 8-track tuned up. Are we at a break yet? Yeah, so now I'm just doing stupid stuff to make me laugh.
Venture capital is not the end game.
When are we going to talk about me?
Jane, you ignorant slut.
It's my show. I can say what I want.
Yeah. Kiss my ass, go home, unplug, get off the goddamn internet. You are everything that is wrong with the internet right now.
You're so white right now.
I'm the whitest guy in the room. Just explain it to me.
I love this city.
I was banging on the wang.
Really? Should we talk about this? Tag team it. Should I keep going or should I stop?
Can I just say, it's been great being on a show that talks about Mickey Rooney dying for 20 seconds and then poop for 10 minutes.
This is a previously recorded episode of the IT and the D Show.